we're back. This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again on CCW TV. Well, you know, I wanted to think that we could be ranted out, because we had some good rants. I mean, the Siege, starting off with the Siege, I almost blew a gasket there. And then going into the whole Kirby, Marvel, the Kirby estate versus Marvel versus fanboys, blew it even another gasket. You'd think there would be nothing left. And yet there is. But before we get into that, some interesting news hit the internets last week. I am intrigued. I am very, very intrigued to see what happens with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series from Dark Horse after this revelation. Okay, now, if you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and you've been avoiding what the true identity of Twilight is, stop now. Come back for part 2 of Last Rants. Come back for part 2. There's going to be plenty to rant about that. But part 1, we're going to deal with this huge thing.
Because I was pretty pissed that I didn't even get the chance to get a spoiler alert. Like, it was the front page of CBR. They had the picture and the headline. I was like, fuck you, CBR.
So, come back if you've been trying to avoid it, okay? All right. So if you're still with us, it means you've seen it. Or if you haven't seen it, you don't care, you want to know. Fine. Angel is Twilight. So Angel, who, the property of which belonged to IDW for the longest time, as far as I knew, and you couldn't have Angel or Spike or any of the characters from the Angel mythos in the Buffy books because IDW held that property. All along was part of this whole Twilight thing with...
No, the Season 8.
He's the big bad of Season 8. He's the big bad of Season 8. So I'm very, very... At first, I think that's pretty effing clever, if that's the way they're doing it. That's really clever. But I can't help but think that IDW got screwed a bit.
Well, we don't know. I don't know what the story is behind that. I don't know how Joss Whedon was able to get Angel in there. I don't know if this was when he was negotiating the contract for the comic books for IDW. Because Buffy was already coming out. He said, you guys can do the comics, but I have this thing going on with him. But why Dark Horse didn't get that license, I don't understand.
Yeah, because Dark Horse...
I don't even know if Joss Whedon has a say in who gets the license. Because obviously it's a 20th Century Fox property. So I don't even know if Whedon does get a say in it.
Because, you know, he did... I mean, they've been... Scott Alley at Dark Horse says he's known for 4 years that Angel was Twilight. Or Twilight was Angel. Or, but the fact that all this is going on with the Angel character in his own book just felt really... I don't know. It seems to kind of make what happened in the IDW book kind of illegitimate. Like it didn't really happen. Although, I mean, Joss Whedon was involved with the plotting of the book.
Yeah, he plotted the book, but the stuff that they've been doing with IDW's been doing with it, I can't get into it.
Yeah, I know. I was having the problem with Angel. I was having was the fact that they did it the way they did. You know, they should have just said, screw this whole... I know they wanted the book to establish its own identity, its own look. But the characters didn't look like the characters. I was having a hard time figuring out who was who in the very beginning.
$4 an issue.
I'll give IDW cut them some slack there, being a smaller.
But to me, it just was worth $4.
Right.
So.
And on top of that, it just didn't feel like the Angel series. It didn't. It felt like a comic book based on Angel.
Because I tried reading the first story, like the first 5 issues, I was like, man, I'm done. I just couldn't get into it.
Whereas the Buffy book feels like Buffy.
Yeah, because you have all the regular writers from the show on there. And Joss Whedon wrote the whole... He comes back in... He wrote the first story arc, and then he comes back in and out. But, so here's the thing with the whole Twilight reveal. I've read over 30 issues trying to figure out who Twilight is. And they're not even going to reveal who Twilight is for another 3 or 4 issues.
Right.
So, here's the thing. Why? All right, we're gonna get into why, I guess. But I don't like the fact that I had the big bad spoiled for me.
Yeah, no, I
would
you.
rather have, like, looked at the comic, looked at the last page, like, holy shit, that's pure genius.
Yeah.
But instead, I click on CBR like I do every day, and the very first story, the highlighted story, had a big picture saying Twilight revealed, and it was Angel with Buffy. It was the cover to the issue. Right. I was like, fuck you, CBR. It's like, don't show the picture. That's fine if you want to have the headline,
right?
But it's a spoil-laden thing,
right? But that is kind of a huge thing.
It is kind of a huge thing. But I've been having problems lately with the Buffy comic, with it being very boring and we've talked about this on our last review. It's very just running in place. But now that they've announced that it's Angel, I'm like, ooh.
Now you're like, interested, right?
See, so it goes both ways for me. Like, I'm kind of pissed, but at the same time, I know why Dark Horse did it, because the sales are kind of been. Because Buffy used to be in the top 10 every month.
Right.
Now it's like in the top 20, and then it's top 30s, and then top 40.
Yeah.
So this to reignite interest in the book, and retailers be like, oh, that book's coming up. I know it's going to be Angel. I should order heavy, so that might push it back up in the top 20 at least.
I was going to say, because it could also be the ultimate fake-out, that it's not Angel, and they want to make you think that, but it's somebody else. But I don't know what bigger revelation you can have than that. I really don't. And I'm sorry, since when could Angel fly? We've seen Twilight flying. So, how does he fly like Superman?
But he does have Amy with him, and she's
a
witch.
That's right.
So
she's a witch.
I think
that's
she
right.
could, she's always with him.
Yeah. So if it is Angel, I'd also like to know, where is Illyria? Where's Spike and all those. If that means we get the whole Buffyverse back together again, that will, definitely reignite my interest, too.
Did you see the Spike ad that IDW put out?
No.
IDW put out an ad saying Spike is not Twilight, and they have a pin-up of Spike burning the mask. So, IDW didn't know about that, and they're kind of playing it up.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's some kind of joint venture going to go on between Dark Horse and... I mean, I'm really interested in seeing just what the properties are going to be. Like, is it going to come back together?
Right.
Is it all going to be under one banner? Is it all going to be the Dark Horse? Or are they going to be able to coexist? And IDW and Dark Horse worked out a thing with Joss saying that these books can now have crossovers. Kind of like how the old TV show, when the TV show went to the WB, there wasn't a lot of crossovers between, or UPN. When it went to UPN. Buffy went to UPN, Angel was still on WB. There wasn't a lot of crossovers because that was the station.
There was only the one, and that was in the Buffy season finale when Buffy, when Angel showed up at the beginning instead of the very end, which is kind of bizarre. All right. So yeah, I'm intrigued. But still, I'm just,
Yeah, but the fanboy me was kind of pissed, but then the other part of the fanboy me, the analytical one, was like, I'm kind of interested. I want to see where this is going, and it has reignited my interest in the comic that I was going to probably drop soon. To tell you the truth.